So, two in one day goes to show how upset I am. But I needed to get this off my chest a little bit too. So, I did a video on the Federalist paper number 65 where Hamilton talks about impeachment. And I mentioned the fact that Hamilton actually uses the word bridle. He intends Congress to be a bridle on the presidency. And the main issue for Hamilton, at least my reading of Federalist Paper 65, is um, betraying the public trust. That really is the key for him. If a president betrays the public trust, he needs to be impeached. And he explains that's why he has the Senate do the trial rather than the judiciary, because it's not just a criminal issue, it's really a political issue. He says that pretty directly. So um, look at the Trump administration now for, let's just talk about a couple things. Um, Trump said he was going to deport the criminals. He said that, that the countries were emptying their jails and having them enter the United States illegally, and that he was going to get rid of the criminals. Well, that's not what he's doing. What he's doing is a betrayal of the public trust that he was going to do what he said he was going to do. Um, he has taken the Department of Justice and used it to go after and punish people who have offended him or put him in danger. And, if you listen to the Jack Smith testimony, which is 8 hours long, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Trump would have been convicted. I mean, I would now. Up to be fair, I would have said that about the impeachment for January 6th as well. I couldn't believe that the Republican Senate would actually do what they did. It didn't seem possible to me that our politicians are so far away from the principles that from being men of honor. They're so far away from what the founders anticipated people in those high elected offices to be. Of course, at the end of the day, right, it's us who put him there. So, I have never voted for Trump, nor for anybody who's claimed to be a supporter of Trump, a MAGA person. The last thing I would ever want my country to be is what MAGA people want it to be. I mean, the thing about America, which I've said before, is the whole intent of the government is to give every individual citizen as much freedom as possible. It's to be the anti-king government, right? It's the opposite of the king we were fighting. Every citizen should have as much freedom as they possibly can and maintain a civil society, right? The way I was taught was, the freedom to throw my fist should end at the tip of your nose. I shouldn't be allowed to hit you, in other words. And I'm not allowed to hit you, and that's appropriate. So, and I'm real glad because you probably hit me back harder. So, um, I just think the fundamentals of this country require the elected officials to have some honor and integrity and to execute the offices as they were designed, which is why they have to take an oath to the Constitution. Every one of these 273 Republicans in Congress who every day empower Trump and just make him worse because of all the freedom they give him, um, took an oath to uphold the Constitution, uphold and defend the Constitution. Not one of them is doing it. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene did it a little bit, but she didn't offer. She didn't put in try to get him impeached. I mean, she didn't. And not one Republican. In fact, they're on the other side of the coin, right? I mean, Trump is using the American military as his personal weapon, and like the bully that he is, he goes after Venezuela because Venezuela's military is no match for American military, and Venezuela knows that. So, and we know it too. So, I mean, it's just his, bully behavior. And now he's talking about Greenland. I mean, come on, if those things aren't impeachable, how can you how can you get elected, take the oath to the Constitution and not be doing something? How can that be? Come on. I'm so embarrassed by the Republican Party, my party. I mean, but it's not really. It's been taken over by MAGA. I mean, everybody, the people I am close to, who I know who support Trump, are people who have been victims in their life, and feel like victims. And and Trump, of course, that's his whole gig. He feels like a victim, and that's he's lashing out as a result of what he thinks is his victimization. And he has betrayed the public trust so clearly in my mind, in so many different ways, many of which I haven't talked about, but. That's exactly what he's doing, and that's exactly what the impeachment ability is for. It's for Congress to keep a rein on the presidency. And instead, look at what Congress is doing. I have a long list of things that make me angry about Congress. Why is it okay for social media companies to be able to figure out how to get people more and more riled up, because the more emotionally upset you are, the more you click? Why is that okay? When I was growing up in the 50s, you couldn't say curse words on television. It's okay for the government to control the media. I mean, my parents thought that was a wonderful thing. When people started to swear on television, my parents went crazy. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing. To say that that's free speech, in my mind, is crazy. Of course, I thought the Citizens United decision was crazy. I'm certainly not a lawyer, and I'm no legal expert, and I don't even know much about Citizens United. My impression of Citizens United is that the Supreme Court decided anybody could give as much money as they wanted to any official running for office, because money was sort of like free speech. It should be your right to speak as loudly as you want to. Again, what I was taught, as long as you're not screaming fire in a crowded movie theater when there is no fire. If there is a fire, fine, you can do that. But if there isn't, you can't, because people get hurt, stampeding out. So there are limits on free speech, and I think Congress has just abandoned us. And they're supposed to be the ones, the House anyway, is supposed to be the ones closest to us. I mean, certainly my representative just became governor of New Jersey, but I certainly had no contact with her when she was representing me. So I had the general impression that she was doing kind of the things that I would like her to do. So, and I don't know enough to know whether that's true or not, but that was my impression. So I voted for her in Congress, and I voted for her for governor too. So. But anyway, and of course I know she's not a Republican, but I cannot support what the Republicans have done. How can you be? Let me just say, the Republican Party no longer reflects what I view as Republican values, which, as I've said before, is all about optimizing individual freedom while maintaining a civil society, and MAGA's not in that. They're not that. They would not favor that. They don't want to give trans people freedom. And I don't know why. I mean, again, I'm fine if you show me that something is hurting you. I agree it shouldn't be allowed to hurt you. I'm okay with that. But why do you want to limit somebody's freedom if they're not hurting you? And why do you have the right to do that? In the United idea of American democracy, you don't have a right to do that. But, and I'm not, as I've said before, I know we never really got to having every citizen be as free as they could be. But I think we were on the path to get there until Trump, until MAGA, which is on the opposite path, right? I mean, it's in a way it's ironic, right? Because I'm a Mayflower wasp, so I should be feeling as if um, only liking white people, especially white people who speak English. I mean, that should work for me, right? But I'm actually terrified of this government. I'm terrified of it. I see making these videos as an act of bravery. I mean, the only thing that's saving me is nobody's watching them, which I get. I mean, who's ever heard of me? So, you know, anyway, I just, I think that we, including me, until I really looked into it, viewed impeachment as a much more serious thing than the founders intended. I think the putting a bridle on the presidency, that has a lot of popularity possibilities to it, right? So I mean, I can certainly see how it could be overused, but it's certainly not being overused in this case. Certainly not if betraying the public trust is impeachable. I mean, come on. Nobody's betrayed my trust. But of course, I didn't vote for him, so I guess you could take the position that he's never represented me. I certainly he would take that position. In fact, he's going to put me in jail if he ever saw one of these things. And I don't think he has the right to do that, but he does. And since the Congress doesn't stop him in any way, he does have that right. So it's absolutely terrifying to me.